Welcome back to How to Cake It. I'm Yolanda, and this week I'm caking a giant peep. I'm caking with my peeps.
So how did you make this giant duck cake?
It's a peep. To make my giant peep cake, I baked 12 pounds of my yellow velvet cake. I baked 2 rectangular cakes and 4 round cakes. For exact details on how I divided my batter and baked my cakes, head to my blog at howtocakeit.com. Click the I. Now that my cakes are all baked and cooled, I'm going to level them and cut the caramelization off the bottom. Now, Orhan, I have some distressing news. As I was leveling, I could see that there were dark patches in it.
Oh no.
And I'm very upset. The peep is dark inside. You know what I mean? Like they look all like, but there's a darkness.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, see what's happening today? Yolanda's back. The next thing I want to do is layer some of my cakes into 2 layers. So I'm going to cut my 2 8-inch round cakes and my 1 7-inch round cake into 2 layers horizontally. I feel like this shirt is technically a lie because I'm pretty much always caking by myself. Really only one other person here when I'm caking. So I should just say like caking with my peep.
You just completely ignored the existence of Sir Squeeze.
I'm sorry, Sir
Lawsuit
Squeeze.
coming up from.
I know. That would be just like him. Speaking of Sir Squeeze, I called him in and he helped me simple syrup all of this yellow velvet cake. If you'd like to get your own Sir Squeeze, even though he's a bit of a diva, you can pick one up at howtocakeit.com. While my simple syrup is soaking in, I'm gonna take the opportunity to mix some yellow buttercream. For this, I'm using 2 tones of yellow, a little bit of golden yellow and more lemon yellow. I want it to look like the color of a peep. Yellow is one of my favorite colors. In fact, I love all the bright colors of spring. And if you want to see more colorful cakes, just check out my Easter cakes compilation over on How to Cake It Step by Step. How to Cake It. I really feel upset that you won't sing step by step with me.
It's a dark cake, right?
It's a dark cake?
Yeah, it has dark patches inside, so we shouldn't sing happy songs.
How dare you remind me? See how he used that to his advantage? Well done. Once I'm happy with my yellow buttercream, it's time to start to stack and fill these cakes. I'm going to build my cake in 3 separate parts to start. First, I'm sandwiching together my 2 rectangular cakes with yellow buttercream. Then I'm gonna sandwich together my 4 layers that are 8-inch round. And then for the third part, I'm gonna stack together my 2 7-inch round layers and the 1 6-inch round on top. And then I'm going to chill all of these cakes to make them easier to carve. I can't stress enough how much easier it is to carve a cake when it is chilled. Spring is one of my favorite times for baking. There's so many celebrations. I feel like everyone's coming out of hibernation. And there's lots of great recipes in my cake book to help you with any celebration at any skill level. You can click it up at howtocakeit.com. Maybe we should say cluck it up. Get it?
No, I don't
It's
get
a
it.
duck.
Ah.
Now it is time to carve my giant peep. Okay, so this little guy is my model. Can you see them all? Me and the peeps. The reason I built my cake in 3 parts is so that I could concentrate on carving the 3 main parts before putting it together. To begin, I'm gonna start with the 2 rectangular layers. So I made myself a template, laid it on my rectangular cakes, and cut away the excess cake. Then I used my serrated knife to round down the cake all around and carve cake away from underneath. So it has this rounded facade. I use the word facade to describe a peep. Then once I'm semi-happy with that part of the peep, I'll put that aside and I'm gonna move on to carving the thick neck. So I placed my other cake on top, the 7 and 6-inch, and I realized right then that I think it's a little too high. So I actually decided to remove the 6-inch cake. And the first thing I do is sort of carve this rounded back of the thick neck, right?
Okay.
And then the front, I try to carve this way. I feel like we need a diagram in this episode. And I start to carve the head. Again, rounding the back side, and then I cut sort of like a triangle and carved along those lines to create this beak. Now it's time to put all my 3 cakes together. And guess what? I'm gonna keep carving. So at this point, I can see it as a whole, and I feel like the base is a little too much wider than the thick neck. So what can I say? The best advice I have, and I say this all the time with really carved cakes, is carve little by little. Because once you sort of like hack into it, if you take off too much, it's harder to put back than it is to take away. And I'm so happy that I took that 6-inch layer off the top because I realized I needed to build out this thick neck. I realized I need to carve it to make it look like a slide. You could slide down this neck, right? I needed to carve it into one seamless line. And I used that 6-inch round, I cut it in half and I stacked them in front of my neck just to help elongate and build up that neck. Here at How to Cake It, we have so much fun coming up with the cake puns that you see on all of my teas, but only one pun a month becomes an exclusive tea that you can only get if you're a Cake Tea Club member. But we want your help coming up with some other cake tea puns that we will use on upcoming cake teas this spring. Comment below if you have any fun spring tea pun ideas. Head to howtocakeit.com and sign up to become a Cake Tea Club member. Now that I'm happy with the overall shape of my peep, it is time to crumb coat and chill. I'm going to crumb coat and chill this in my yellow buttercream. Right now we're at the crumb coat, so the most important thing is to just coat this entire cake in buttercream so the crumbs stick to it. Crumb coat is chilled, so I remove my cake from my fridge and I realize I'm not happy with the shape of it. Something is wrong with it and I can't figure it out. Like, it looks good, it's peep-like, but at this point, I wasn't sure what was wrong. And then I was like, Yolanda, your peep isn't peeping. Your peep is popping. My peep was like, it was just looking up a little too much. You know what I mean? So I decided to take the peep's head off and cut out a layer of cake and then place the head back. Now I am happy with the shape of my peep. I'm going to re-crumb coat and chill. There's never been a re-crumb coat and chill.
Yep.
Yes, 2 crumb coat and chills in this video. Yep. If you think your peeps would really like to see my giant peep cake, share this video. This one's for your peeps. My second crumb coat is chilled. I'm going to ice this cake and chill it again. Guess what, guys? There's also going to be a second icing on this cake. This cake is not going to be covered in fondant, so I need the icing to be as smooth and yellow as possible.
So you're icing with the yellow buttercream?
Yes.
And there's no fondant on it?
No fondant.
Oh.
Why, Orhan? What are peeps covered in?
Sugar thingies.
Sugar thingies or sugar?
Just sugar? Is
Sugar,
that just
yeah,
sugar?
sugar. The thingies, otherwise known as granules. After I'm done, I chill the cake once again. Now I remove my chilled cake from the fridge and I want to smooth the buttercream even further. I'm going to use a paper towel technique. So you just take a piece of a paper towel, place it on the cake cream, and then just use your fingertips to help smooth it. And the reason I'm doing that is because, again, there's all these like indents and areas, so it's very hard to get it smooth in certain areas with straight spatulas. You must do this when your buttercream is very chilled. Otherwise, you'll just pull the buttercream off the cake. My giant peep cake is nice and smooth. I'm very happy with it. So let's move on to coloring our sugar thingies. You like that?
Yeah.
Yes. I start with my white coarse sugar and then I have some yellow color dust. And I'm just going to add some to the sugar, stir it and stir it and stir it till all of the thingies are coated in yellow. By the way, guys, this is the perfect month to join the How to Cake It sprinkle service because we are giving you not 1, but 2 sprinkle mixes. I'm gonna be in Pitch Perfect 4.
They made 3 of them already?
Yes, and it's time to apply it to my giant peep cake. Cody asked me if I would just like put it in a sieve and sprinkle it on the cake.
That makes sense.
Well, no, because then how, like it would only land on the surfaces and then how would I get it in there?
Of course, you would insert like a big dough into the cake and then just spin the cake. Rotisserie.
It's not a rotisserie cake. You're picturing it on like on a spit.
Yeah.
Like, no, That wouldn't work with cake, it would fall apart. I'm simply going to grab my beautiful yellow sugar. I'm just gonna take a handful and press it into the cake all around. See?
It's easier, more primitive.
Primitive, yes. I'm gonna use my primitive method because it works. So I just brush away any excess. I just want one coat of yellow sugar all over my giant peep. Please subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell because this giant peep cake is not the only Easter treat we have planned. This is gonna be hard to say. Peeps have piped eyes. Piped peep eyes. I am using chocolate ganache, which will be perfect because it's the perfect chocolate color and I can pipe it. In fact, I got so nervous about having to pipe ganache onto this bright yellow cake that I decided to pipe the eyes separately. To be safe, I want the ganache to be pipeable, but not too soft that it would run down the cake, because that would be even scarier and weirder. Can you imagine? It's gonna melt it. It's creepy. And now that they're chilled, I'm just gonna use a knife to pick up the two perfect peep eyeballs, piped peep eyeballs, and place them on my cake. 1 and 2.
I gotta be honest, and I've been thinking, I thought it was like a baby chicken, not a duck.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, he's probably right. You're probably right.
Yeah, what's
Do we have to redo this whole thing?
Good.
Click here for my chocolate bar mega cake tutorial and click here for my dessert cakes compilation, both on how to cake it step by step. They're saying goodbye. Peep that. I'll see you next week.